The mystery of abstinence, the power the world doesn't tell chosen one, God's chosen one. What I'm about to reveal to you is not a coincidence, not some random word carried by the wind to your ears. This message is a spiritual summons. You are not here by accident. You have been called to hear a secret the world would never reveal. There are mysteries that society hides. There are forces the enemy tries to cover. But today, the light of truth breaks through the darkness and exposes what has always been within you. The power of abstinence. The world has taught you that abstinence is weakness, that it is foolish to deny the impulses of the flesh, that it is a loss to refuse immediate pleasures. They mock those who consecrate themselves. They do not understand those who separate themselves. But in the spiritual realm, every time you abstain, it is not a loss, it is a multiplication. Every time you deny the flesh, it is not a defeat, it is an invisible victory. With each silence, each renunciation, each solitary night in which you decide to remain steadfast, you become more powerful, more luminous, more invincible. There are spiritual codes hidden in abstinence that ordinary humanity cannot decipher. Because it is not a human practice, it is a divine summons. When you decide to hold back your energy, when you refuse to give in to the appetite of the flesh, you are saying to heaven, I do not depend on what the world offers. I await what comes from the eternal throne. And the heavens respond. With each act of abstinence, waves of invisible energy course through your soul. You may not notice it right away, but your aura changes, your frequency rises, your mind expands. Chosen one, have you ever noticed that when you deny yourself momentary pleasures, strange dreams begin to come? Have you ever noticed that when you decide to consecrate yourself, the silence of the night becomes heavier, almost as if another dimension has opened its doors? This is not an illusion. This is the manifestation of your transmuted energy. You become a spiritual antenna. You begin to pick up signals that others miss. You hear what the natural world cannot hear. You see what ordinary eyes cannot see. And the world doesn't tell you this. Because the world fears those who discover the secret of abstinence. If everyone knew that true strength lies not in indulgence but in consecration, the system would lose control. They need you to remain a slave to your impulses, bound to the flesh, chained to addiction. Because a man or woman who discovers the mystery of abstinence cannot be dominated. Their mind is clear, their energy is pure, their strength is limitless. There is a reason why ancient prophets fasted. There is a reason why spiritual warriors separated themselves in deserts. There is a reason why priests observed silence and consecration. They knew the flesh can be fed, but the spirit must be ignited. And there is only one way to ignite the spirit, through renunciation. The world offers you immediate pleasure, but heaven offers you eternal authority. The world offers you fire that consumes quickly, but heaven gives you a flame that never goes out. You, chosen one, need to understand. Every day you practice abstinence, you are accumulating power. This power is not physical, it is spiritual. It shapes your aura, it strengthens your soul, it connects you to your destiny. Your enemies may laugh now, but in time, they will see that all your silence was training, all your waiting was preparation, all your consecration was construction. The power the world doesn't tell you is this. Abstinence transforms weakness into strength, loneliness into communion, emptiness into fullness. When you silence your flesh, your spirit speaks. When you restrain your energy, the universe responds. When you deny desire, you become God's desire. And here, at the beginning of this journey, I want you not only to listen, but to activate it in spirit. If this word touches you, if you feel deep down that it is a revelation, then leave your spiritual mark in this place. Enjoy this video as a prophetic act. Sign up. Because this journey is not for many, it is for a few. and you have been called. And in the comments, write the number 111. Why? Because 111 is the code of divine alignment, a sign that you are at one with heaven, at one with purpose, at one with destiny. Each time you write this number, you are decreeing that your consecration is a portal to the supernatural. Don't forget, you are not alone. Other chosen ones are here. Each comment is a confirmation that you are part of a generation awakening, a generation that does not bow, a generation that understands that the flesh is weak, but the spirit is eternal fire. And now I ask you, are you ready to walk deeper into this mystery? Are you ready to penetrate the layers that the world hides and discover the secrets that only the consecrated can access? Don't leave, don't turn your ears away, because what I will reveal in the next chapter is even deeper. The emptiness you feel is not absence, it is preparation. The loneliness you experience is not punishment, it is a portal. And in the next chapter, I will reveal to you the enigma of the night of the chosen. Stay until the end, because this journey is ever increasing. Each chapter is a key, each word is a decree, each revelation is a code that activates something within you. This is only the beginning, chosen one. The mystery of abstinence is being revealed, the void that turns into fire. The night of the chosen, God's chosen one. There are moments in your journey that seem unbearable. In the silence of the night, when the walls of the room seem closer, when the darkness seems denser, when even your own memories begin to speak loudly, you feel a profound emptiness. It's as if everything has fallen silent so that you are left alone with your own soul. Many call this loneliness. Others call it a desert. But I tell you, this is the womb of the Spirit. Emptiness is not absence, it is preparation. It is the space that the eternal opens within you so that the fire can be born. When the world no longer satisfies you, when conversations no longer fulfill you, when pleasures no longer sustain you, it is because heaven is making space. And this space hurts, chosen one. This space makes you question, makes you think there is something wrong with you. But in truth, it is the opposite. There is something very right happening within you. The night of the chosen one is never just darkness. It's an alchemical process. It's in the silence of dawn that your body begins to vibrate differently. It's during this time that dreams become more vivid, laden with symbols, codes, and enigmas. It's during this time that you wake up sweating, with chills, with the feeling that someone has been in the next room. This isn't madness. This is the spiritual activation of your consecration. The emptiness of abstinence is transforming into invisible fire. Have you ever noticed that the more you separate yourself from the world, the more intense your night visions become? Have you noticed that the early mornings carry a different spiritual weight when you deny the flesh? This is because the Spirit begins to work on another level. While others sleep in the comfort of unconsciousness, you awaken in invisible battles. While the world surrenders to ordinary dreams, you enter celestial chambers. The enemy knows this. That's why on the night of the elect, attacks intensify. Strange thoughts arise, memories of old mistakes return, temptations arise like ghosts. Don't be alarmed. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're being polished. Spiritual warfare intensifies precisely when the gold is in the fire. You're not someone forgotten. You're someone being purified. Emptiness becomes fire because abstinence transforms carnal energy into spiritual energy. Energy that would otherwise be wasted becomes fuel for visions, for inner strength, for prophetic sensitivity. This is why the silence of the night weighs heavy, because you're charged with undissipated energy. You become like a boiling vessel, like a lit torch in a dark field. You attract attention. Angels surround you. Demons try to approach. Heaven watches your every move. Chosen one, don't mistake this feeling for abandonment. The Father hasn't abandoned you. He's simply training you. It's like an archer pulling back the arrow before launching it forward. This recoil hurts, it stretches, it seems unfair, but it's necessary. The arrow only reaches its target when it's drawn to its limit. The same is true of emptiness. It's the tension before release, the pain before glory, the silence before revelation. The night of the chosen is also a school. It's when you learn to trust what you don't see. It's when you realize that your strength comes not from people, but from the invisible presence that sustains you. It's when you discover that praying without words is as powerful as praying out loud, because the Spirit intercedes in inexpressible groans. And in this time, chosen one, it's common to feel like no one understands you, because they truly don't. The language of consecration isn't for everyone. The codes of the night aren't deciphered by those who live superficially. Only those who traverse the void can understand the fire that arises within it. Look, the great prophets, the spiritual warriors, the saints and visionaries of all ages, they all had their lonely nights. Moses in the desert, Elijah in the cave, Jesus in Gethsemane. They all faced the silence, the heaviness, the emptiness, but they all emerged transformed, because emptiness is only the initial form of fire. What seems like absence is actually incubation. With every tear that falls on the pillow, a seed is planted in the Spirit. Every night you feel abandoned, the heavens are recording your faithfulness. Every time you overcome temptation in the darkness, lights are lit in dimensions you cannot yet see. And listen, there will come a time when this fire will overflow. You will no longer be able to hide. Your presence will change environments. Your voice will carry spiritual weight. Your aura will carry authority. But before all this, you must cross the void, because the void is the furnace where your identity is forged. So don't fear the silence of the night. Don't fear the strange dreams. Don't fear the chills, the shivers, the heat waves. These are not attacks of destruction. They are signs of construction. They are signs that you are no longer ordinary. They are signs that your flesh is dying and your spirit is awakening. Chosen one, embrace the void, because it is not the end, it is the beginning. It is not defeat, it is passage. It is not abandonment, it is a summons. And when you cross the night, you will see that the fire was being prepared all along. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, I will show you the codes of the night. I will reveal how your body, your dreams, and even your chills are spiritual signs that heaven is releasing. You cannot miss them, because this is the hidden language that distinguishes the chosen from the rest of the world. Don't leave. Don't be distracted. What I will release next is even deeper. When the body becomes a spiritual antenna. Chosen one, God's chosen one. Night for you is never just night. Sleep for you is never just rest. The body for you is never just flesh. Because when you consecrate yourself, when you choose abstinence, when you decide to be different from the world, your body transforms into something beyond biology. It becomes a spiritual antenna. While the world lives superficially, seeking immediate pleasure, you are called to decipher hidden codes. And these codes don't come in human words. They don't come in ordinary books. They don't come in trivial conversations. They come in the form of signs. Sudden chills, vivid dreams, throbbing in the forehead, pressure in the chest, inexplicable heat in the hands. Every detail is a language of heaven. Your body is an electric field, chosen one. But not just electric, spiritual. Every cell carries memory. Every heartbeat is a drum that echoes in the invisible. Every breath is a breath that connects you to the divine breath that created you. And when you abstain, when you don't pour your energy into vanity or empty pleasure, that energy accumulates. And the more it accumulates, the more sensitive you become to the invisible. That's why you get goosebumps when you hear certain words. That's why your skin crawls when a presence enters the room, even if no one is physically there. That's why you wake up at 3 a.m. for no reason at all. This is no coincidence. This is no accident. These are the codes of the night. The goosebumps are the code of the wind. It's the sign that the spirit is blowing over you. When you feel that sudden rush in your body, it's because something has been released into the environment. It could be an angel approaching. It could be a shadow trying to probe. It could simply be your spirit responding to what the world doesn't see. Dreams are the code of vision. They are the cinema of the spirit. And for the chosen, they are never just confused images. They carry symbols, numbers, repeated scenarios. An old house, a river, an animal, a storm. Every element is an enigma, every detail a key. Because heaven knows you are sensitive and speaks to you in a language the world does not understand. The pressures in the body are the code of battle. When you feel a weight on your chest, when the air seems thick, when your mind suddenly becomes confused for no reason, it is because there is a war going on. Don't be alarmed. This is merely the physical translation of a spiritual reality. And remember, if you feel it, it is because you have authority over it. God would never allow you to perceive a battle you could not win. The sudden heat is the code of fire. Many chosen ones report feeling their hands burning, their feet heating up, their body vibrating as if in a spiritual fever. This is not illness. This is presence. It is the flame of consecration that begins to radiate within you. It is the fire of the invisible altar that now burns within your being. And see, chosen one, the world will say it is a coincidence, that they are just symptoms, that it's just a tired mind, that they are illusions of the subconscious. But deep down, you know they are not. Because each time these signs appear, your soul responds with a profound call, with an unshakable certainty that you are connected to the invisible. There is a spiritual science here. Even natural science confirms it. The human body emits frequencies, vibrations, electrical energy. But what science doesn't explain is that these vibrations can be consecrated, and when consecrated, they become antennas of revelation. You cease to be just matter. You become a portal. The most powerful code of the night, however, is silence. When you awaken in the middle of the night and everything is silent, know that this is the moment when heaven speaks loudest. Because the noise of the world has been turned off. Because the spiritual corridors are open. Because your mind is free from the rush. It is in this silence that the Spirit whispers. It is in this silence that codes are released. Chosen one, do not ignore these signs. Don't think you're going crazy. Don't think it's imagination. The more you consecrate yourself, the more codes you receive. They are proof that you are being separated, marked, trained. They are the language of heaven saying, you are not ordinary. You are on another frequency. Understand? Every shiver is a reminder. Every dream is a message. Every heat is a fire. Every silence is a portal. Your entire body is a temple, and the codes of the night are the scriptures engraved in that temple. In the ancient world, prophets were recognized by the signs they carried. Today, you carry these signs in your body, in your soul, in your dreams. They are your mark of authenticity. They are what prove you are not a mere don't fight it. Don't run away. Learn to read the codes. Ask the Holy Spirit what each dream means. Write it down, reflect, pray. What seems strange can be the key to a gigantic revelation. What seems small can be the announcement of a great destiny. Chosen one, you are an antenna. While the world drowns in noise, you pick up frequencies. While others sleep, you are awakened to watch. While others ignore the signals, you are invited to decipher them. This is the weight of your identity, but it is also the seal of your authority. And don't forget, every time you feel these codes, you are being reminded that you are not alone. You have been marked. You have been set apart. You have been called. In the next chapter, I will take you even deeper. We will talk about the alchemy of desire and how the flesh can transform into sacred fire when delivered to the altar of abstinence. What you consider your greatest weakness will be revealed as your greatest strength. The alchemy of desire, transforming flesh into sacred fire. Chosen one, listen carefully. What the world calls weakness, what the enemy tries to use against you, is precisely the raw material of your greatest spiritual strength. The desire that runs within you, the flame that burns in your limbs, the restlessness that tries to drag you into the vices of the flesh, all of this, when surrendered to God, becomes fuel for your authority. The world doesn't understand. The world teaches that desire needs to be satisfied immediately, that if it's not satisfied, it corrodes from within. But heaven reveals something different. Desire wasn't made to be simply spent. It was made to be transmuted. This is the spiritual alchemy that few know. Transforming flesh into sacred fire, weakness into power, abstinence into consecration. When you feel the pressure, when temptation arrives, when your flesh cries out for pleasure, that's the moment of the forge. It's as if you were raw gold placed in the fire. The flame heats up, impurity tries to manifest itself. But if you resist, if you remain steadfast, what is impure begins to burn, and what is pure begins to shine. Understand this, desire is not a sin in itself. Desire is energy. It is life. It is the vital force that flows within you. But what you do with it determines the fate of that energy. The chosen one does not waste it. The chosen one does not give their energy in empty exchanges. The chosen one raises desire to the altar. And when desire is placed before God, it becomes sacred fire. The same impulse that could bind you in carnal chains is now the flame that drives your prayer, your creativity, your spiritual vision. This energy, when not wasted, rises like incense. Heaven recognizes it, hell trembles. Think of Joseph in Egypt. He could have given in to the desire of Potiphar's wife. He could have given in to the call of the flesh. But he said no. He fled, and that repressed desire didn't die within him. It was transmuted into wisdom, into vision, into authority, until he ruled an entire nation. Think of Samson. He had uncommon strength, but he couldn't control it. He wasted his energy in strange arms, in beds of betrayal, and each time he surrendered, his strength diminished until his eyes were gouged out. See the difference? Chosen one. Joseph transmuted desire into glory. Samson wasted desire into weakness. And you, what will you do? When you choose abstinence, it's not just a matter of not doing. It's much deeper. It's taking the most powerful energy within you and redirecting it toward an eternal purpose. It's pure alchemy. It's like taking ordinary water and turning it into wine. It's like transforming ashes into beauty. It's like transforming carnal fire into heavenly fire. And that fire, once lit, cannot be easily extinguished. It consumes your mind with clarity, your voice with authority, your presence with spiritual weight. People will look at you and won't know how to explain it, but they will sense something different. This something is the reflection of the sacred fire burning within you. Chosen one, the enemy knows this. That's why he tries every way to seduce you. He knows that if he can steal your desire, he will also steal your flame. He knows that if he can trap you in cycles of waste, you will never reach the level of authority God has reserved for you. But I declare over your life, you will not be deceived. You will not fall into traps. The fire within you will not be extinguished. The desire within you will be elevated, transformed, sanctified. Remember, every time temptation comes, you have a choice. You can waste it or you can transmute it. You can fall or you can rise. You can give in or you can ascend. And there's something even deeper here. The greater the desire, the greater the fire that will be produced when it is surrendered. Don't curse your struggle. Don't curse your flesh. Because this struggle is a sign that you have plenty of spiritual fuel within you. The enemy doesn't pursue those who carry nothing. He attacks you because he sees the storehouse of energy, the furnace that can set multitudes ablaze when lit by the Spirit. You need to understand, every internal battle is a training ground. Every night you say no is a brick placed on the altar of your consecration. Every tear of resistance is a drop of oil that fuels the flame of anointing upon your life. And when you begin to practice this alchemy, when desire ceases to be an enemy and becomes fuel, something changes within you. The sparkle in your eyes grows, your mind becomes clearer, your intuition becomes sharper. The Spirit begins to trust you with secrets not revealed to many, because you've proven that you know how to save. You've proven that you don't waste. You've proven that you're faithful in the hidden. The world looks at you and thinks, he's repressing life. But heaven looks at you and says, he's storing eternal life within himself. The world says, he's wasting time. Heaven says, he's accumulating glory. The world says, he's weakening. Heaven says, he's becoming unbeatable. Chosen one, you need to learn to celebrate your abstinence. You need to learn to look at your desire not as a curse, but as raw material. Because it is from this furnace that prophets emerge. It is from this pressure that warriors emerge. It is from this struggle that liberators arise. In the invisible, you are already being seen. Every time you choose to transmute, there are celebrations in heaven. Every time you choose to resist, records are being written in the eternal books. Every time you choose to offer desire as a sacrifice, God kindles in you more fire, more anointing, more authority. Don't fear the flame within you. Learn to master it. Learn to offer it. Learn to transform what seems like weakness into living testimony. Because your body can be a prison or it can be an altar. The choice is yours, and when you choose to be an altar, the fire will never cease. You will become a living torch. You will become a flame that warms others. You will become a visible sign that the alchemy of desire is real, that flesh can become spirit, that weakness can become power. In the next chapter, we will discuss what happens when this fire begins to radiate outward, the signs, the synchronicities, the prophetic numbers, the invisible movements that confirm you are on the right frequency. Desire, now transformed into sacred fire, will begin to shape even the reality around you. Get ready. What comes next is the unfolding of your prophetic frequency. When reality bends, signs, synchronicities, and prophetic frequency. Chosen one, listen carefully. What I'm about to reveal is one of the greatest secrets of the spiritual journey. There comes a moment when reality itself begins to bend before you. It's not imagination. It's not coincidence. It's not delusion. It's synchronicity. It's the hidden language of the Spirit. It's the prophetic frequency responding to your awakening. From the moment you decided to walk in abstinence, consecration, and spiritual discipline, something invisible began to move around you. Like strings vibrating in resonance, your soul began to emit a different frequency, and this frequency stirs the fabric of the invisible. The physical world is not solid, it is condensed energy. What appears to be stone, iron, or flesh is nothing more than vibrations organized in mathematical patterns. When your energy shifts, the geometry of the world around you changes as well. And that's why, chosen one, you begin to notice strange signs. Numbers that repeat before your eyes. 11, 11, 22, 22, 3, 33. Sounds that appear in unexpected places. People you meet by chance but who carry hidden messages. Situations that seem to align with mathematical perfection. All of this is reality responding to your vibration. These numbers are not just numbers on a clock. They are spiritual codes, confirmations sent from above, prophetic signatures that you are on the right path. 1111 announces that the portals are open. 333 reveals that there is angelic coverage around you. 777 confirms that divine perfection is writing your story. The physical universe is merely a mirror of what has already been decreed in the spiritual world. Chosen one, you need to understand, you do not attract coincidences. You attract confirmations. Each synchronicity is like a drumbeat in the rhythm of your journey, marking the beat of revelation. The enemy tries to say it's imagination, but the signs don't stop. The more you consecrate yourself, the more they intensify, until they become impossible to ignore. Imagine reality as a cosmic fabric. When you're disconnected from the spirit, your energy is weak, and you merely float on this fabric, dragged along by chance. But when you awaken, when you raise your frequency through abstinence, prayer, and fasting, you begin to press this fabric tightly. It bends, and everything that once seemed distant begins to slide toward you. This is why doors that were locked suddenly open. People who were far away suddenly return. Opportunities that seemed unattainable approach like waves obeying the call of the moon. This is not luck. This is the prophetic frequency at work in your life. Chosen one, realize the magnitude of this. Even heaven and earth conspire in favor of those who walk in the light. Quantum physics itself already recognizes that the observer influences reality. But what science touches on the surface, the Spirit had already revealed millennia ago. As a man thinks in his soul, so he is. The mind aligned with the energy of the divine transforms thoughts into matter, visions into reality, faith into concrete works. And don't think that signs are just to gladden the heart. They are instructions, calls, confirmations of the root. Each repetition, each coincidence, each synchronicity is like an invisible note delivered to your hands. The question is, are you attentive to read it? Many see, but don't perceive. Many look, but don't understand. The chosen one, however, has open eyes. He reads between the lines of time. He hears the voice in the silence. He deciphers the code hidden in simple things. This is the difference between you and others. Chosen one. Where they see chance, you see purpose. Where they see numbers, you perceive portals. Where they see random encounters, you feel the hand of God guiding every step. And it is at this point that you begin to experience something even more profound. The prophetic frequency not only shows signs, but also aligns events for the fulfillment of your destiny. You begin to speak, and things happen. You pray, and the universe responds. You dream, and reality bends to materialize. Not because you are a god, but because the living God has decided to share part of his authority with you. Chosen one. The spiritual world vibrates in energy bands. Many remain trapped in the frequency of fear, envy, lust, and doubt. But you have been called to live at a higher frequency, the frequency of revelation, of divine justice, of eternal glory. This is why your life begins to disturb those who still live in darkness. They don't understand how doors open for you. They don't understand why you always rise after every fall. It's because you walk in a different vibration. And here's the revelation. The longer you remain in consecration, the more intense this synchronicity becomes. Even your enemies begin to serve your purpose without realizing it. They try to harm you, but their actions end up becoming stepping stones to your elevation. It's the boomerang effect of energy. Everything they throw at you returns, and everything that should destroy you becomes fuel for your growth. You need to keep this truth. Reality already recognizes your identity. The circumstances around you know who you are, even if you haven't yet realized the fullness of your calling. Signs don't appear by chance. They arise because heaven is stamping decrees on the timeline. So when you look at the clock and see 11:11, declare, "The portal is open for me." When you see 3:33, say, "The angels guard me." When you see 7:77, proclaim, "Divine perfection is already established." Don't just observe, prophesy, declare, participate in the code. Because signs aren't just for confirmation. They are invitations for you to move in accordance with the frequency of heaven. Chosen one, the emptiness you felt is becoming fullness. The silence that was once heavy is now melody. The loneliness that seemed like punishment is now encounter. Reality bends, destiny bends, and the prophetic frequency is leading you to places you never imagined. Don't run from the signs. Don't ignore the synchronicities. Don't doubt God's secret language. Because every repetition, every code, every fold in time is an announcement. You are on the path of the promise. And if the revelation so far has been profound, wait for what comes next. What I will reveal to you in the next chapter is not just about signs, but about the supreme trials that test the soul of the chosen. Prepare yourself, because the revelation that is to come is even more transformative. The ultimate ordeal. Silence, solitude, and the voices of the past. Chosen one, have you ever realized that silence can be deafening? That solitude can shout louder than crowds? That the voices of the past can echo like thunder within your mind when you decide to walk the narrow path of consecration? This is the deepest battlefield of the spiritual journey, the ultimate ordeal. Make no mistake. The true war doesn't just take place in the external world, between visible enemies and circumstances trying to bring you down. The most intense battle is fought within you, when the silence becomes heavy, when solitude seems infinite, when old memories return like specters trying to steal your peace. Abstinence, consecration, renunciation, fasting, all these sacred acts raise your spiritual energy. But at the same time, they open the doors to confrontation with all that has been hidden within you. It's as if the fire of holiness illuminates the dark corners of the soul and forces the ghosts of the past to come out of hiding. It is at this moment that the voices begin to speak. Voices that say, "You can't take it." Voices that whisper, "You are alone." Voices that scream, "What's the point of all this if no one sees, if no one understands, if no one appreciates?" They are echoes of old wounds, memories of failures, memories of rejection, scars of pain you thought had already healed. Chosen one, listen. These voices are not the end, they are the test. Silence is not emptiness, it is a trial. Solitude is not abandonment, it is training. The memories that return are not a curse, they are an invitation to healing. The chosen one must cross the valley of memory, the desert of the soul, the dark night of the spirit. Because it is there, in this arid terrain, that authority is forged. The spiritual world watches, the heavens await. Even the angels hold their breath when the chosen one enters this stage. Because the supreme ordeal is not about resisting the external enemy. It is about overcoming oneself. It is about looking at the echo of one's own failures and still saying, "I am chosen, I am called, I am loved." In the silence, you begin to hear another voice. Not that of fear, not that of rejection, not that of the past, but the soft, almost imperceptible voice that has always been there. It is the voice of the Spirit. It is the voice that does not compete with the cries of the soul, but that remains steadfast until you decide to silence everything and listen to it. This voice does not accuse you. It calls you. It does not condemn you. It confirms you. It does not say, "You have failed." It declares, "I have raised you up." And it is at this point that the ordeal becomes revelation, because the silence that seemed empty transforms into dialogue. The solitude that seemed like punishment reveals itself as an encounter. The voices of the past, once frightening, lose power before the present voice of the Spirit that whispers, "I am with you. I have never left you. I have always been here." Chosen one, understand. Every tear shed in solitude is a seed. Every dark night is fertile ground. Every painful memory is a training ground. You are not being destroyed. You are being refined. You are not being forgotten. You are being hidden until the time of manifestation comes. The supreme ordeal has a purpose: to silence the external voices so that you recognize the internal voice. The Spirit does not compete with noise. He speaks in subtle codes, in delicate signals, in gentle intuitions. Therefore, He leads you into the desert, into silence, into solitude, so that there, without distractions, you learn to identify the timbre of the voice that will guide you forever. Remember, even Christ Himself was led into the desert before manifesting His glory, not to be destroyed, but to be confirmed. The temptation was not an accident, it was a spiritual protocol. And likewise, chosen one, the silence you face is the stage where your authority will be established. Yes, the voices of the past will return. They will try to remind you of mistakes, sins, failures, and abandonments. But you must respond with the voice of promise. When memory screams, "You have been rejected," declare, "I have been chosen." When the echo says, "You have failed," respond, "I have been forgiven." When the past tries to imprison you, stand up and proclaim, "I am free." Silence and solitude are not your enemies. They are teachers. They are teaching you to live without applause, to walk without an audience, to stand firm without human recognition. Because the chosen one must be rooted in something greater than external approval. The chosen one lives by revelation, not validation. And there is an even deeper mystery. Silence opens doors for you to hear even the future. In your loneliest moments, the Spirit begins to release glimpses of what is to come. You have prophetic dreams. You feel pressures in your spirit. You see sudden images that seem like flashes of another reality. It is destiny calling to you. It is your spiritual heritage trying to cross time to connect with your identity. Chosen one, do not fear silence. Do not run from solitude. Do not despair in the face of the voices of the past, because the supreme ordeal is only the prelude to the coronation. He who crosses the valley of memory emerges from it with eyes burning with fire and a voice charged with authority. Because only those who have faced the desert can speak with weight in their spirit. Today, I tell you in Revelation, the silence you face is about to become song. The solitude that seemed infinite will be replaced by divine companionship, and the voices of the past will be drowned out by the eternal decree that echoes, "You are mine, you are chosen, you are called, and nothing can change that." So, stand firm. Because if the chapter of trial was profound, the next will be even more revealing. What lies ahead is the perfume of consecration, the spiritual fragrance that announces to heaven and hell that you belong to God and that your life is a living altar. The perfume of consecration. When heaven and hell sense your presence, chosen one, there is something invisible within you that cannot be hidden, something that cannot be muffled, masked, or erased. It is the perfume of consecration. I am not speaking of earthly fragrances, nor of aromas that dissipate in the wind. I am speaking of a spiritual essence that emanates from your soul when you decide to live in abstinence, in purity, in total surrender to the Almighty. Just as the incense that burned in the temple rose as a sweet aroma before God, your consecrated life has become a living altar. Each renunciation is a spark. Each prayer is a flame. Each chosen silence is a burning ember. And together, these invisible acts create a perceptible aroma in the spiritual world. That is why, even when you walk silently through the streets, heaven and hell know of your presence. The angels recognize you by the scent of obedience. They know that you are holy territory, the exclusive property of the Almighty. Demons, on the other hand, are disturbed, agitated, and tormented, because to them, your perfume is the scent of defeat. Chosen one, understand this mystery. Consecration has a scent. The spiritual world operates in deeper dimensions than the natural eye can see. Just as on earth we distinguish sweet from bitter, fresh from rotten, by smell, so too in the heavens and the abysses there are spiritual fragrances that betray the essence of each soul. There are those who exude the scent of envy, and wherever they go, they bring burdens. There are those who carry the odor of lust and attract spirits that consume them. Others exude the aroma of death, the fruit of hidden pacts and disordered lives. But you, chosen one, have been set apart to carry the scent of consecration. Wherever you enter, the environment transforms. Wherever you step, darkness trembles. Wherever you pray, the spiritual climate changes. Remember, consecration is not something seen from the outside. It's something you feel from within. People may doubt you, they may judge you, they may try to reduce you to the past. But in the invisible world, there are no disguises. Light is light. Shadow is shadow. The perfume is unmistakable. And here's the secret. This perfume is not artificially manufactured. It isn't born from pretty words, religious appearances, or public gestures. It is produced in secret, in the early mornings when you wept in silence, on the days when you overcame temptations when no one was looking, on the nights when you chose prayer over immediate pleasure. In these hidden hours, the anointing oil flowed over you, and the perfume was generated. The heavens celebrate this aroma. To God, it is like precious incense. To the angels, it is a sign of alignment with the throne. But to hell, it is a warning of war, because the consecrated elect cannot be easily manipulated. They do not respond to the world's appeals. They do not bow to the invitations of darkness. Their life already belongs to another realm. So, chosen one, don't be surprised when you notice the atmosphere changing around you. People may feel uncomfortable around you, even for no apparent reason. It's not you. It's the perfume you carry. Your presence exposes the darkness within them. Your light reveals hidden shadows. Your consecration provokes reactions. And here's the truth. This is a sign you're on the right path. If heaven recognizes your perfume, if hell is bothered by your presence, it's because your life is burning on the altar. You are not neutral. You are a living witness to glory. This perfume also has the power of attraction. It attracts thirsty people, souls in search of light, hearts hungry for truth. They can't explain it, but they feel peace around you. They don't understand, but they find rest in your gaze, courage in your voice, clarity in your words. This happens because the perfume of consecration is not just fragrance, it is energy, it is atmosphere, it is divine presence radiating from within you. And know this perfume does not fade with time. On the contrary, the longer you remain consecrated, the more intense it becomes. It permeates your history, spreads wherever you go, leaves its mark on the places you inhabit. Even after you leave, your essence remains, like incense that continues to linger in the air, even when the flame has gone out. Chosen one, keep this revelation. Heaven and hell already know you by the perfume you exude. What you built in secret cannot be denied in public. What you offered in sacrifice has become an eternal aroma before the throne. And if you already feel the weight of this consecration, know that the next stage is even deeper. Because perfume doesn't just attract or disturb, it grants authority. Authority to speak, and the spiritual world to obey. Authority to decree, and the heavens confirm. Authority to silence, and silence to become a message. The supreme ordeal has driven you to silence, but now the fragrance of consecration opens the space for your voice to carry weight. Prepare yourself, because what comes next is a revelation of authority. When your voice becomes a decree, when your words move the atmosphere. When your voice moves atmospheres. The moment has come when the silence of your consecration transforms into a voice. But not just any voice. No longer the voice that spoke out of habit. No longer the loose words that dissipated into the air like weightless dust. Now, your every syllable is charged with fire. Your every phrase is an invisible arrow fired against the strongholds of darkness. Your every word is a decree that traverses dimensions. When a chosen one reaches spiritual stature through abstinence and consecration, their voice is no longer just sound. It is authority. It is a double-edged sword. It is a key that opens and closes. It is a hammer that shatters ancient rocks. Whether you shout or whisper, the atmosphere recognizes the timbre of one born of fire. Understand this. The voice of a consecrated person comes not only from the mouth, but from the essence. It is a voice that echoes not only in sound waves, but in spiritual waves. Therefore, there are people who, upon hearing your words, will feel a strange impact, as if something within them were shaken. They may not understand, but their spirits react. Because when your mouth opens, it is not just you who speaks. The throne speaks through you. Remember when the Master said, "My words are spirit and they are life." This also happens to you when you stand at the altar. Your words cease to be opinionated and become creative. They generate, they plant, they change destinies. But be careful. With this authority also comes the weight of responsibility. Because what comes from your mouth cannot be wasted. The tongue can edify or destroy. It can heal or wound. It can release life or invoke death. Therefore, chosen one, be careful what you proclaim. Do not waste decrees on murmuring. Do not squander authority on empty complaints. Those who carry the perfume of consecration cannot allow themselves to pollute their own altar. And herein lies the mystery. Hell fears not only your prayer, it also fears your declaration. Because when you decide to open your mouth in faith, in alignment with heaven, chains begin to break, territories begin to open, and doors that seem sealed for generations begin to give way before the sound of your voice. In the spiritual world, the voice is like thunder, and each thunderclap echoes in distant territories. What you speak here can resound in faraway lands. What you proclaim in secret can reverberate to the ends of the earth. Do not underestimate the reach of your consecrated voice. Look at the ancient prophets. They didn't speak because they were eloquent. They spoke because they carried authority. They were men and women of the altar, of silence, of tears, of hidden fire. And when they finally opened their mouths, the heavens moved, kings bowed, nations trembled. So it will be with you, chosen one. Your voice will be like a trumpet announcing deliverance. It will be like a river that sweeps away barriers. It will be like a wind that breathes life into dry bones. Where there is death, your voice will sow resurrection. Where there is darkness, your word will open a clearing of light. Where there is doubt, your sound will be direction. And it's not just about what you say to others, but also about what you declare about yourself. Many don't understand, but every time you take a stand and say, "I am chosen, I am consecrated, I am heir to the throne," something is established in the spiritual world. Identity solidifies, heaven confirms, hell retreats. Therefore, do not allow your mouth to be a channel of curse against your own life. Do not say, I can't, I'm not worthy," because your voice carries weight, and each word is a seed. So life, so fire, so the future. Feel this. The atmosphere responds to your frequency. Just as stones vibrate when a note is uttered, environments vibrate when your consecrated voice manifests. Locked doors begin to creak. Invisible chains begin to weaken. Sick bodies can be healed only by a decree. Tormented spirits can be freed only by a command. And know this, it is not volume that generates authority. It is anointing. A whispered word from you, if charged with fire, can be more devastating than an empty scream. What moves atmospheres is not the strength of your vocal cords, but the weight of the spirit behind the voice. Therefore, chosen one, arise and speak. Do not be silent. Silence was your school, but now your voice is your weapon. Speak about your home. Speak about your family. Speak about your generation. Speak about your journey. Because heaven awaits your agreement. And here's the next stage of your journey. You will not only speak as an individual, but your voice will echo as a bridge between past and future. Because when you open your mouth, it is not only you who speaks. Your ancestors who cried out in silence speak to you. Future generations who await your steadfastness speak to you. Your voice is a connecting thread between times. Therefore, keep this revelation in mind. When your voice moves atmospheres, it is not just an echo in the present, but an eternal decree that spans the ages. Prepare yourself, chosen one, because the next step will be even more profound. What now begins to manifest in authority will become collective liberation. In the next stage, you will see ancient chains break, curses undo, and ancestral doors open. Because your voice will be used to break generational chains. Breaking generational chains. The chosen one is a bridge between past and future. Chosen one, there are secrets hidden in your blood. There are silent pacts made before you were even born. There are voices of ancestors crying out. There are invisible chains that bind entire families in cycles of pain, failure, and repetition. But there is also a secret flame that God has preserved within certain lineages, and that flame is you. You are not just a person living your own life. You are a bridge between times. You carry within you the marks of those who came before and the hope of those yet to come. You are the answer to a grandmother's forgotten prayers, the echo of a father's silent groans, the continuation of interrupted dreams. And at the same time, you are the break with the mistakes, vices, and curses that have dragged on from generation to generation. It is no coincidence that your journey has felt so heavy. It is no coincidence that you have always felt different, as if carrying burdens that were not yours alone. It is because, in the invisible, you were chosen as the one who would break the chains that bound your ancestors. The struggle you face is not yours alone, it is collective. But the victory you carry is also not yours alone. It is eternal. Generational chains manifest themselves in many ways. They appear in patterns of addiction, in repeated failures, in chronic poverty, in successive divorces, in illnesses that run through the family tree like poisoned roots. But the chosen one is not born to perpetuate these chains. The chosen one is born to break them. And herein lies the mystery. What seemed like a curse becomes fuel for your consecration. What your parents and grandparents could not overcome, you overcame on your knees. What paralyzed entire generations, you broke in the silence of abstinence. What shattered dreams in the past will not be able to touch your future. Because your renunciation is not yours alone. It echoes back and forth. Understand this. When you say no to temptation, you're not just protecting yourself. You're freeing your lineage. When you stand in prayer, you're not just praying for yourself. You're praying for those who came before and those who will come after. You become a spiritual wall between the past and the future. That's why the attacks against you were so intense, because the darkness knew that if you remained standing, the chains would be broken. That's why they tried to crush you with loneliness, with rejection, with internal accusations. But each time you chose to stand firm, an ancient chain was broken. In the spiritual world, you are like a key that opens ancient prisons, a key that unlocks doors locked for centuries. And when you turn that key, not only do you pass through, but your entire lineage gains access to a new reality. Visualize this. Behind you is a multitude of ancestors, some trapped in pacts, others suffocated in silence. Ahead of you is a multitude of descendants waiting for an open path. And in the middle is you, the chosen one, with the key in your hand, opening the way. You are a bridge. You are living intercession. And here is the revelation. Abstinence is not just personal discipline. It is a generational weapon. When you renounce immediate pleasure, you break cycles. When you consecrate your body, you redeem memories. When you say yes to holiness, you alter the spiritual DNA of your descendants. Science has already proven that traumas and experiences are recorded in epigenetics, invisible codes passed from generation to generation. But what science still doesn't understand is that holiness, renunciation, and consecration can also become epigenetic marks. You are writing new codes. You are altering destiny. Therefore, chosen one, do not underestimate the days of your renunciation. Every tear shed is a seed that your children will reap as victory. Every chosen silence is a wall erected against the enemy. Every fast, every prayer, every night you resisted is like a brick placed in an indestructible bridge that connects your lineage to heaven. Remember this. Your enemies did not understand that their fight against you was not just against one person, but against an entire lineage that would be freed through you. That is why their hatred was so intense. That is why their envy was so voracious. Because by attacking you, they tried to hold captive all those who depend on your victory. But they failed. Because divine justice has already decreed, the chain has been broken. And herein lies the paradox. Your ancestors may never have seen your victory, but now they participate in it in the invisible. And your descendants may not yet be born, but they already walk on the ground you opened. You are the answer to yesterday and hope for tomorrow. Chosen one, you are a bridge of liberation, a bridge of transformation, a bridge of life. Your existence is a line of fire crossing generations. What began in tears will end in glory. What seemed like defeat became collective victory. What was prison became freedom. And remember this, your voice, your actions, your choices are not small. They echo through generations. You are a living decree of God against ancestral chains. You are the bridge that connects pasts of pain to futures of promise. And all heaven testifies, the chains have been broken, the lineage has been redeemed, the inheritance has been restored, and the chosen one remains as a beacon, leading multitudes not yet born to the freedom that only the light of the eternal can give. From solitude to the overflowing of promise. Chosen one, take a deep breath and feel. The cycle is coming to an end. Not the end of your story, but the end of a stage, a season, a journey. The desert was not eternal. The lonely nights were not in vain. The silence that burned your soul was merely a rehearsal for the sound of victory. Now what was hidden will be revealed. What was kept hidden will be released. What seemed delayed will be accelerated. Throughout this journey, you were trained in silence, honed in solitude, purified in the fire of abstinence. You were like a seed buried in the dark earth, forgotten, invisible, suffocated. But the seed did not die, it burst forth. Now, chosen one, it is time to sprout, to blossom, to overflow. See the scene before you. There is a crown being lowered from the eternal throne, not a crown made of human gold, but of living light. This crown was shaped by your tears, polished by your fasts, studded with your renunciations. Every precious stone in it represents a day you resisted. Every gleam is a night you stood tall. You didn't realize it, but all of heaven was watching you. The angels bent over your story. Every time you said no to the flesh, a record was made. Every time you raised your voice in prayer, a memorial was raised. Every time you stood firm amidst the onslaught, a flame was added to your crown. Now this crown is placed upon your head, and when it touches your brow, something explodes in the spiritual world. Doors open, thrones move, chains shatter. Because this isn't just a symbolic honor, it's a transfer of authority. You are no longer just a survivor. You are no longer just a resistor. You are now an ambassador of heaven, clothed in glory and eternal weight. Hell trembles because it recognizes the authority stamped on your brow. Men may not understand, but they will feel it. Wherever you enter, the atmosphere will change. Wherever you speak, the weight will be felt. Wherever you remain silent, silence will speak louder than 1,000 voices. Because the crowning is not just visible, it is sensorial, it is spiritual, it is eternal. And no, chosen one, your victory is not yours alone. It overflows. It reaches your home, your family, your generation. It splashes onto every person who touches your life. Because the crowning is not for decoration, it is for governance. You are not crowned to isolate yourself, but to govern atmospheres, decree destinies, open paths for others. Feel this. What was solitude is now a plentiful table. What was silence is now song. What was tears is now a river of joy. What was pain is now testimony. What was weakness is now authority. You are no longer the same person who entered this journey. You emerged from it bigger, stronger, fuller, with more light. Remember, the eternal throne never wastes processes. Divine justice never fails. What seemed like a conspiracy against you was merely a stage set to display your victory. Those who united to destroy you were used as stepping stones that elevated you. Those who laughed at your fall will witness your coronation, and those who conspired against your light will have to witness your brilliance. Here is the secret. The coronation is not the end of the war, but the beginning of government. You were trained to reign over your emotions, to reign over your temptations, to reign over spiritual territories, to reign as an inheritance for your generation. Now, chosen one, heaven summons you to declare. For your mouth has power, your word carries weight, and your declaration seals what the throne has already released. If this message has burned within you, do not leave in silence. Declare your identity now. Write in the comments, I am crowned, I am chosen, I am light. Mark your victory with a spiritual seal. Also, comment the number 9999, a symbol of the end of cycles and the beginning of a new era. Like this video as a prophetic act of agreement. Subscribe to the channel to stay connected to this flow. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded that the crown is already descending upon their head. Chosen one, this is not just another video. This is your memorial. It is the mark of your coronation. You will never be the same again, because divine justice has already announced. The chosen one won, the chosen one reigned, the chosen one was crowned.